Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello, hello. We are live.
And not at home. Look.
We're in
Look,
Miami.
there's a big city back there. We're in Miami. We're going to go on to the Holistic Health Cruise tomorrow. The kitties are safe at home with auntie house sitters. So don't worry about them. They're being probably doted on as we speak.
And probably getting lots of treats.
All the treats. Luna's about all the... Freya Luna. Freya Luna Hester. So it's still bundle week. This may be the last bundle live that you see out of us, but there's going to be tons of other ones going on. So if you guys are like, what's the bundle? It's the Vegan Health Bundle of 2025. So there's like over 80 products worth more than $5,000. You get it for $49. I have 2 classes for pizza in the bundle that are worth $70. So that even if you find 1 or 2 things, you've probably more than made your money. What I like to do is go ahead, download all the things and keep them to the side on like Google Drive, something that's free. And then as the year comes on, like June, I'll be like, ooh, I want to make some raw foods. Let me find some raw food stuff. All these different things. So you can get the link down below in the description. Here we go. We're in a different computer, a different location, so who knows where I'm going to point next. But we have the lovely Jennifer Diamond. And so I'm going to go ahead and let you chat, Jennifer, and tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for taking the time to spend with me to talk about the bundle when you're in this beautiful place. And so a little bit about me. My name is Jennifer Diamond, and I am whole food plant-based. This is my first time in the bundle, and very excited to be a part of it. I have 2 contributions. One is my first cookbook. It's called Give Plants a Chance, and I mean it when I say it. And I also have a mastermind series class with some other certified plant-based nutrition coaches, and one of them is Cheryl here. And so it's pretty cool. And you can find me on YouTube. You can find my link to purchase on YouTube or any of my platforms. I'm at the Jennifer Diamond on YouTube, and Instagram, I'm Diamond Girl 369. And I also have a Facebook page that is my name, as well as the Jennifer Diamond, and a web page, yikes, thejenniferdiamond.com. So this has been such an amazing opportunity to be part of this, because I've only purchased before, and that's really great too, but being part of it has been really incredible. And you mentioned that you have the 2 pizza recipes in there, and I could not help it, but I had to try and make it. And I literally just took it out of the oven before we went live. I want to show you how it looks and get your feedback. I don't know, without it rolling off.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I tried to do you had 2 different kinds of mozzarella. It's not real cheese, of course, but a vegan version. And so these are like, the ones that you can just scoop and make into the little clumps. You had a pourable one also. And then what I did is I just took a few vegetables and I dry sauteed them in a pan, and then just kind of put it on here with the sauce. And I love how you have different pizza blends that you share, so you can get different flavors in the sauce. And so I am excited to have this later today and see how it stretches and everything. So it's been fun, and it's pretty.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I think one of the things that people think, it's hard to make your own vegan cheese, and you made the hardest one, which isn't that hard. You just have to cook it a little bit and then scoop it out. With the pourable one, you're just blending it and pouring. So tell us a little bit about your contribution too, a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. I will tell you real quick, I didn't know that this was the harder one.
Well, it's barely harder. You have one more thing to wash off.
Yeah, and I also just want to share that this is the quinoa crust, and it looks like regular any type of other crust. And so, anyways, yeah, that's great. And here are some extra veggies that I was talking about that I water sauteed. I would put them all on, but I wanted you to see the cheese. So, anyhow, well, my contributions are my first cookbook, and it's got smoothies in it, recipes for smoothies. It's raw and cooked in there. I have sauces, I have salads, I have some entree dishes and desserts. And I have some things that go together. So there's like a cabbage roll dish that you can make, a main dish. And then there's a tangy onion sauce. And those pair really well together, although you can use the sauces for anything. And I also have a barbecue sauce in there. And yeah, so it was fun and a new adventure for me for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about the cooked food in your smoothies. That sounds unusual.
Oh, well, not like cooked in the smoothies. Just, I mean, some things are cooked and some things aren't. But I do have like some beans in some of the smoothies, and those are cooked. Yeah, so there's some different cruciferous and some unusual stuff in there. But there's also like a berry blend smoothie, which is, it has some greens in it, but it's really a deeper color. So you could use mulberries or blueberries in there. There's a watermelon smoothie that's a vibrant pink. And some of those my grandkids really like. And I think they're really good because sometimes, as much as I think it's important for me and for anybody to get their greens in, sometimes wherever you're starting, your palate might not be ready for a real deep green smoothie. And this way you have some options. It's also great for kids, or if you just want to change. And because it's all real food, you might feel like you're having a dessert, right? But you can have any of these dishes any time of the day, and there's no guilt at all. So it's great.
That's so helpful, I think, when you're trying to eat healthier or add things into your diet, to have something that tastes kind of treaty or really flavorful. Because I would even say that, like, the pizza that you made seems really treaty, but it's all whole food, plant-based, no oil. It's really SOS unless you chose to. You can put salt in the things or not, depending on what your thing is. But I find, like, I got Cheryl a long time ago to eat more greens by putting them in smoothies.
They
where
were
she
all
could
doctored up, and I didn't even know they were there.
Yeah, and the secret ninja trick for me is, if you don't want them to know there's greens in them, put cocoa or cacao powder, because then they can't even see it because it's brown. But I don't know if you've ever done this, because I just start throwing stuff in when I want a smoothie, especially if I don't feel well. I've had a couple of weeks where I wasn't feeling super good, and I am queen of making a brown smoothie. Too many strawberries and blueberries and greens in at the same time. It's like, can't serve that to Cheryl.
You got to add some chocolate disguise, right? Some cacao powder or something. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you're feeling better now. That's rough, but yeah, smoothies are just really simple and a great way to go if you're not feeling, no matter how you're feeling, but if you're not feeling good.
I do agree too. And like, because I was sick for about 2 whole weeks, which is a long time for me. And I didn't have COVID or RSV or anything like that, which is weird. But I had a lot of acai bowls and dragon fruit bowls when we were out traveling back home too. And I've got to tell you, it was a lifesaver, because that was about all I could eat then. And so I think I love the whole food plant-based community and doctors. Sometimes it can be difficult because there's so many different sub rules. Like, we're all whole food plant-based. Yes. Most of us are whole food plant-based, no oil, and then it's like
no nuts,
no smoothies, or all the smoothies. And so obviously, whoever's watching, you should follow what your plan is and whatever that works out for you. So I know some people don't do any caffeine, and you could even put carob or a grain coffee substitute in your smoothie too. I'm always trying to have extra options for the people who can't do things. Is there any kind of trick that you had, or was Todd just right on board with eating all the things that you wanted to eat?
Oh no, he was not on board. No, not even at all. Not even a little at first. But before I'll tell you about that, I just wanted to share that one thing that I find, and I think it's in some of my smoothies in the cookbook, is using cauliflower. And using raw cauliflower I've done, or cauliflower frozen. You can get it like riced from Costco or whatever, but cauliflower isn't a green color, but it's a cruciferous, and it doesn't really have a strong flavor. And so you can hide it, and then you can still get the really bright colors that you might be looking for when you have, like, those beautiful bright fruits and watermelon, or, a banana or something on a lighter color. And so I found that to be helpful.
I love
Yeah.
that idea. And also, they say now that white foods is a thing.
What are white foods?
Like cauliflower. So it's
Oh.
white. So, like, usually they're saying eat the rainbow, and you think, oh, well, I don't want to
That's
eat
the
anything
only
white.
white food, isn't it? Or rice, I guess.
Well, I think there's other, there's white asparagus. I think we could probably go down a rabbit hole. Turnip, right? Potato. But those are all good for us too. So let's hear how everything went getting him to start trying some things.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just also thinking in my smoothie recipe, I think there is also, I'm trying to look up, because it's hard for me to remember every single thing in there. But there's some creamy banana mint smoothie in there that is really, really a high hitter in my household. And it is green, but it's mint, and it's got a really nice vanilla flavor to it. Let's see, the cauliflower one is actually in the watermelon. It's a watermelon strawberry smoothie. And I'm going to tell you another secret that's in there, because it's really a lot of unique ingredients in that particular one. Brussels sprouts. I kid you not. So I've got Brussels sprouts in there, cauliflower, and some other things that are a little unusual, and nobody knows. And it looks just like watermelon, and it's really great. And so, anyways, I just wanted to share about that. As far as Todd goes, so when I first started this, he was like worried, where are you going to get your protein, that kind of thing. And he was really concerned because he, wants the best for me. And I'm telling him, look, I got to try something different, because I'm tired of having weird growths and tumors and inflammation and all kinds of stuff. And so I was able to, to just kind of tell him, let me just try it. And so eventually I would say, do you want to join me? Do you want to join me? And he would always say, no, I'm good. Like, what I'm doing works for me. Eventually, when I was really, really healing over the last few years, I, said, how about now? Do you want to try? And at first he would say, I want to support you however I can, but I'm going to still eat my food. And so eventually, when I kind of I didn't push anything. I think that's really important to share. I just said, look, this is what I need to do for me, and you got to do whatever works for you. And if you want to do what I'm doing, then there's plenty here. But I can't worry about what you're doing. And he finally kind of got the message and realized, I'm not going to push this on him. And slowly he would, try stuff. And so, he's not 100%, but he is way improved, made lots of changes, got off his blood pressure medication, lost some weight. And I think, it's just an evolution. And it's really important just to accept us, anybody, where we are. And if you're into health, if you want to do this, you can do it in so many ways, right? Like what you said, there's so many different levels too. And you just got to figure out, why are you doing this? What is your goal? What is the direction that you're going, and how are you going to get there? And just keep evolving and keep reflecting and keep looking. Because like for me, I think this spaghetti sauce is good, right? And then maybe 6 months later, I realize, I didn't realize there's oil in it, and now I'm not doing oil. And so I have to keep on top of things, keep checking things, and if I'm not making it homemade, like make sure that, don't trust what you thought a long time ago. Recheck things often.
I think that's a great point, because manufacturers reformulate a lot depending on sometimes feedback they get, and it may not be feedback from this community. Right? I know Light Life hot dogs, the vegan hot dogs, they were kind of accidentally gluten-free. They were already vegan, and then they put the gluten back in, and a lot of people had a lot of issues because it had been gluten-free for a decade. And
Wow.
then
People had lots of feels about that.
Yeah, well, people got sick because they weren't reading the label. So that's just a good reminder to always check. And another thing that can be kind of cool is like with Oatly, let's say. So most Oatly has some added oil. I think they have one out now that doesn't. So you can, sometimes there'll be pluses, not just minuses.
Yeah, and I just want to say regarding the bundle, the 2025 Vegan Health Bundle that we are both in, all of us, there is a label reading course Sid Notter put in there, and it's really good, even if you already know everything about it, to go back and be reminded. And if you don't know, it's a great course. It's very simple to understand, and it can really help. And there's so many amazing things in the bundle. I keep discovering stuff every day.
It's true. Every year I found so much that I've used in it a lot. But I kind of like what you said too about, as soon as he realized I wasn't going to really push this on him, he became more receptive. And I just think that could possibly be a message that some people need to hear. I've talked about this with a few other people this week too, because it's one of those things, if you think, if I just make them do it, and then they'll see and they'll try it and everything will be good. If that would work, then that would mean a carnivore diet person could pull the same thing on us, and that would work. And we know that's not the case, right? So
absolutely.
If you save your own sanity, like, it's very easy to be very evangelical when you have a big health breakthrough. And there's nothing wrong with being excited about how good you feel. That's really brilliant. And you can tell people you feel well, but you can't really tell people you would feel better if you would do what I'm doing, right? Because that doesn't translate quite the same. So I think it's just another delightful way of just showing and not telling. I think sometimes is a better way to get people in. Like, you know what? She doesn't care what I put in her chocolate dessert smoothie. And I put cauliflower in there and all kinds of greens, and she didn't know. Now she would do it now, but 15 years ago that was
shattered.
That's a no. She's like, what do you mean you put cauliflower in there? But like embrace cauliflower. I love having that in the freezer. It's like a miracle thing. So in my pizza class, I have 2 spice blends that you make. They're so easy. You just make them. You put them in a small blender or a little coffee grinder or something. Grind it up. But you can make pepperoni crumbles and sausage crumbles just by sautéing the rice cauliflower with the spice blend.
And so I saw that, and I was like, I got to do that. Maybe I'll do that next time. But you take the riced cauliflower frozen, or you can make it. Do you need to cook it at all first, or you just do the directions and then it cooks on here?
I saute it so just not a long time, like maybe 2-3 minutes, and then I put the spice blend in. I find the heat activates some of those spices and makes the flavor stronger. Like, but I'll tell you, if I was in a pinch, if we were trying to make it somehow in the microwave in our hotel room, I wouldn't be sauteing it. I just mix it together and throw it on, and it will also still get some of that heat from the oven. But I think it would be nice if it just had a little more toothsomeness.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When I first heard that from your pizza book, I thought, oh my gosh, right, crumbles. I mean, that's perfect. You know, riced cauliflower is a great crumble base. And I just love that idea. Also, you know, just going back for a minute about, you know, Todd, he doesn't care for broccoli. And so it doesn't matter how I served broccoli was not going in his mouth. What we learned was that when I started sprouting broccoli, which has more nutrients, I think, he's like, oh, I like this. What is it? I'm like, it's broccoli. And he's like, really? It's broccoli? Okay, I would eat this. And so there are different ways. You know, some people like cooked, some people like, you know, raw. Some people like sprouts and not the big, you know, grown, you know, full broccoli. And so it's finding that space for people, and they need to do it on their own. I think it's also important to understand, like, no matter what your eating style is, we all have different tastes, right? You know, somebody might like mushrooms and somebody else might not. So it doesn't matter that it's a whole food plant or something else. You've got to find what works for you and what you enjoy and like, because I kid you not, it's like, it's so flavorful, delicious. You can make anything. But if you're trying to eat something that you don't like, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied. And that's not what we're trying to share here.
Right. And what kind of my cooking philosophy is you should never have to eat food that doesn't taste good just because it's healthy. You can make that food taste really delicious, and spice blends, sauces, and things like that are really good. Even in one of my classes in Kathy's Cooking Club, because I have some SOS people, we made Thai curry paste from scratch because you can't get SOS free curry paste. And it's not that hard. You're just blending a bunch of stuff together. It's a little bit of a pain in the tuchus, but other than that, I mean, just because you have to blend, it has to be so dry when you're blending it. But
so is that
worked with, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, is that something, if you make that, is that something you can make in bulk and like freeze it? Is that freezable? Oh, so that would be the thing that I would do. I would want to make a lot of it and measure it and have it in frozen section, you know, whatever, tablespoon or half a cup or whatever.
Right. And it's the same thing. So like with the pizza crust, a lot of times I'm kind of like, I don't want to make a pizza crust. It's so hard, you know, or I don't want to unload the dishwasher, whatever that thing is of the day that I've made into this giant thing. So you could just once a month or once a quarter make a crap ton of pizza crusts and freeze them with parchment paper in between them, and then all you have to do is pull it out and then make the rest. It's easy peasy. Have you ever done your smoothies where you freeze everything together like in a little bag so that you can grab it and put it in?
No, I haven't. I mean, I have the frozen fruit, but most of the fresh stuff or the greens or the cruciferous or those kinds of thing, I use fresh. I just happen to use fresh. I guess I could try that, and especially when like traveling or when you're somewhere where, you know, you're not at home, I would definitely do that. But I just tend to just have it really, you know, easily accessible and just kind of throw it together. I've been doing it a long time, so it doesn't take too long as I have the ingredients in the house.
No, I think that's a good idea. When we got home and I wasn't feeling well, we went to Costco and they had these little smoothie packs they had the greens that were frozen in there, the fruit, the bananas, and so I could just open it and put in some non-dairy milk, and that was like it was nice for a lazy thing. So it made me think about those greens that maybe aren't perfect but not ready to throw out. I would maybe puree them and put them in ice cube trays now. And
How long do you think something like that would last?
in the freezer after you froze it?
Yeah, like that it would still reconstitute nicely.
It depends on the temperature of your freezer and how well it's sealed, but easily 3 to 4 months.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that Costco had anything like that. I love that idea. Even if it's just for like a backup or when you're not feeling good or when you're low on time. I mean, there are my grocery shop days. Those are kind of hard because I go to a lot of different stores. Sometimes it takes me many hours. I hate to say it. And then I come back and I don't want to put it away before it's cleaned or organized in a certain manner to make it easier in the future. But that would be a day that I would want to go and get a pizza crust or a smoothie pack or something to make this moment a little bit easier on myself. And so I love that idea. I'm going to have to look for that next time and see if our Costco carries that.
They're in the freezer section.
It's in the freezer section next to the fruit.
Yeah.
It's not as cheap as it should be. It costs a little more because they've made it all for you. But it is kind of interesting. Also, when I'm making certain casseroles, or like if I make a lasagna, obviously a vegan lasagna, I make a lot of soy milk, so I make okara ricotta, and I've been doing some almond milk, the pulp from it, making ricotta as well. So then I just try to make 2 and freeze 1, and then we can always pull it out the night before.
I love that. I just recently did somebody's almond milk that was in the bundle, and it was a raw almond milk, and I had the pulp and I dehydrated it. And then the next day I was trying a different person's raw pizza crust, and they needed the almond milk pulp. And I'm like, this is perfect. So, you never know what you're going to, do with it. You might not know what you're going to do with it, but it's definitely worth keeping. Do you ever freeze it when you're not sure what to do with it? Yeah?
I do. Because like sometimes because I review milk makers and stuff. So sometimes I have a crazy amount of milk. You can actually freeze milk in ice cube trays. So like
it's weird. She doesn't want to waste anything. And there's just the 2 of us, so we can only drink so much, right?
So like if I did a thing that for every week I'm making a thing of milk, that's too much milk for us. Or if I'm trying to make enough pulp to make, like the past 2 classes that I taught, I've used almond ricotta. So I needed to I've been getting blanched almonds because then it's white like the Kite Hill from the store, but it doesn't cost me $11 and it's twice as much as that little container.
Wow.
It's good
Wow.
Too. It's really tasty.
I know. Just side note, do you have a favorite milk maker machine that you could share, or a couple of your top 2?
Absolutely. And so first off, let me say that everybody doesn't need a milk maker. Can you make milk in your Vitamix or Blendtec? Of course you can. The reason I like milk makers is I love soy milk. And you do need heat to make soy milk. So either you can make it in your Vitamix or your almond cow that doesn't have heat, but you have to cook them first. So that's one thing to wash up. Now you're using your Vitamix, so that's 2 things to wash up. So the Mio-Mat is one of my favorites. It makes soups and smoothies and all different kinds of other things. It's stainless steel, so it's really, it ticks most of the boxes. You do have to strain it. Like something like the almond cow doesn't have heat, but it has a strainer, but I found I still need to strain it. Cheryl likes hers pristine, and I got this super cheap strainer on Amazon that if I put in half a cup of soybeans or half a cup of almonds, I get a cup of pulp out.
Yeah, it does really good. That fine mesh.
And it's really fine. So it already looks kind of like ricotta.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing.
I have another one I'm going to try hopefully next time. I was hoping to do it this past week, but I was not feeling well. It's the Nama J. I did get that, but I haven't done it. It doesn't have heat, but it's strained, so I'm going to try a couple things. Tanya swears by it. but I have the Nutri-Milk. I've tried a lot of. I've tried the Chef Wave. The Chef Wave I liked more than I thought I would. You kind of just put your little glass pitcher in here, and it's got this whole thing, and it does it, and it kind of cleans it. It is mostly plastic. So
Oh my glass.
Okay.
no, the pitcher is glass,
Okay.
but the insides aren't.
Okay.
So I have an article about it. I still need to add a couple more because it gets complicated. But basically, it's like, what milk do you? If you want to make oat milk, you do not need a machine. You do not need a machine. You need to put 3 cups of water, 1 cup of ice in your high-speed blender with anywhere from a half a cup to 1 cup of oats, depending if you like skim milk versus whole milk kind of texture.
Were you pointing at me when you said that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to show my hands.
You're
doing it. The range.
No one's. I don't know.
As I was like, what's she trying to say?
No, I like. That's
Yeah.
what
I like it thick.
I do. I like. And
That's like I like almond milk the best because it's always kind of thin.
so, but that do you make a lot of your own plant milk?
So I've been buying it. I used to make almond milk and oat milk in the Vitamix, and then we started buying it because I didn't have time, and now I'm like, this is so expensive and silly. And I just had a birthday because Cheryl and I have March birthdays. I just had a birthday March 2nd, and my son and my husband went in and surprised me with the Nama Melker machine.
Oh, it's
but
Nama M, not Nama J. I'm sorry, Nama M, right?
Nama M for milk. Yes. And it's still in the box because I just haven't had time with the bundle. But I was like, I wonder if this is, the right one for what my needs are, because I would like, I've never done it, but I would like to try to make soy milk. And I know, like you just mentioned, the heat component. So I am like, I know I have a window where I could return it.
I think you're going to want it. My guess is because I trust Tanya, this is what I was thinking of doing. And so I haven't tested this yet. So I'm just putting it out there. I was thinking I could figure out when I soaked the soybeans and all that, what the measurement is after that, which I think it probably doubles in size. So if I'm soaking half a cup, that maybe I'll cook a pound or 2 of soybeans, put them by the cup, and put them in the freezer. And so I would do that once a quarter or once every other month, depending on what's going on. And then you could just take them out of the freezer, throw them in with the water. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So you're saying cook them and then you have them frozen so you're ready to go. Yeah. Okay.
Like batch cook.
But I liked that you. I'm sorry, what was that?
Like batch cook them.
Oh, like batch cook them. Right, of course. Make things easy on yourself. Oh my gosh, so we make batch cooked pizza crust, batch cooked beans for milk, and anything else, and we're gonna be ready to have a great meal. Batch cook the smoothie with the packet.
Well, I think
so
sometimes it's hard. It can be hard to do things, even things you really, really want to do. Either you're tired or you don't feel good, or you read something on the interwebs that kind of bummed you out, right? So I feel like, or maybe you have seasonal affective disorder and you live up north. So right now I'm kind of looking for all of us for these little easy ways to make it. It's like doing a favor for your future self.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. That reminds me of, just self-talk. And I have been really aware that I try to just be very kind and gentle. And, I feel like I have a nurturing way with the kids and the grandkids and even friends or anybody. But leave me alone and I do something that isn't perfect. And there I am mumbling under my breath, like, something not so kind. And I think that's a good reminder, about doing something to be kind to ourselves in the future. So having those things prepared and planning just a little bit, not to make it so oh my God, this huge task. How am I going to ever do this with all these other things I have to do? But to look at it that way, as you're kind of giving yourself a gift for the future, and you'll thank yourself. In fact, I'll just share really quickly. I was a couple years ago at True North Health Center for my first time doing a water fast. And I did a 14-day water fast with a 7-day refeed. And when I got back, I was not in a position, like, weak. I was still weak, and I was just very mellow and just still kind of regrouping, even though I was eating everything. I was not in a position to start cooking the way that I had before I left. And you know what? It was okay, because I had batch cooked soups and different things and had portions in the freezer. And for, I think, probably 2 weeks, I was able to take that out and just have it with some fresh fruit and salad. And it reminds me of what you're talking about. And yeah, it's a good thing to remember.
I think that's a great story too. I was hoping that maybe you and Cheryl could talk a little bit about your coaching product too. I'm gonna focus on you.
She keeps saying, "You're not in the picture enough."
There you go. Now you guys can talk some.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, Cheryl and I have something. You want to share?
Yeah, well, and it's not just us, though, right?
Right.
Lisa's
There's
involved in that. Gina's involved in that. If you guys want to chime in the comments and say anything about it. But I thought it was really great, because I think it's a very informative video series that helps people decide if coaching is for them. You know, and one of the things that we talked about during our sessions, like trying to make this thing, was it's like none of them had actually had a coach, and I actually had one. So I had this totally different perspective on things because of how much it helped me get to where I am. So yeah, I think if you're even thinking about maybe you would like to have somebody that you can chat to about this, or somebody like Jennifer that can help you figure out recipes for your week, watch that video series. You know, it's going to give you some insight. And
yeah,
Lisa
definitely.
Lisa said we had a lot of fun putting together the videos. Yeah, they were fun. I mean, we would always try to like have this serious like focus that we were gonna like hyper focus on, and then it was 4 friends talking, so everything just it's very natural conversation, and I think that helps people learn a little bit more because it's such a natural conversation. There's not like, you don't have like the Ronco effect where we're trying to sell you something, and it's just like we're just telling you our experiences and our thoughts on things and letting you make that decision for yourself. And I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. And I had Lisa on my show this morning, and so we were talking about it as well. And it's just each one of us brings in a different perspective and a different experience, and then bringing in the certification. So we've been, trained, and then we also have our own experience. And, we just took some different topics that were commonly spoken about, that people seem to may either have trouble or they're curious about, and we shared about it. And if one of us resonates with you and you want like some more one-on-one, or some more coaching that's just tailored for you, then you have the opportunity to reach out to any of us. Or we could even do group coaching where we bring people in as well. But this was just a real nice way to share about, what is coaching? Why would I need a coach? Talking about travel, or how much food do you put on your plate, or how do you deal with the people, and like at the holidays or at work that are maybe like looking at you weird or judging you, or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was really fun to do. And I'm sure that it brings a lot of value to somebody looking for improvement or for help with questions that are commonly asked.
Yeah. And it and right now, with how crazy things tend to get sometimes, I think back about the time we spent doing that, and you guys were there for me during a really, really hard time in my life, and I feel like I could never have gotten through what I was going through without you guys.
Yeah. Wow. I'm glad to hear that, because that's what we wanted to do, and that we're here for each other, right? We're coaches and we want to be here for you, but we're people too.
Right.
And so it's nice for us to lean on each other, and you could do that also. That's why I also think, even with the bundle, I keep bringing in the bundle because it really is, but community in any form, whether you have a coach or a group session like we did, or potlucks, or anywhere, community is so important to help you through the good times and, maybe some struggling times.
Yeah, I think community, like when I was younger, I always felt like, I'm the lone wolf. I can do all this on myself. I don't want any help. I don't need any help. But as time has gone on and as I've gotten older, I realized that community is what gets us through. It's not ourselves processing and growing and all that. Like, we can't do that if we don't have a community around us to help us grow.
Yeah. And that's a really another great thing to bring up, because I know that you guys, well, you're currently traveling right now, right? You're not home, and that is a whole nother area of questions and trying to figure out and how to navigate. And we talk about it there. I know you guys have a channel where you talk about it, and I have shared also. I have some stuff, if we want to talk about it, that I use to
bring it
be
out.
successful. Really?
Okay. Bring it out. Let's see.
All right. I'm going to move this beautiful pizza for a minute, but I just want to show you one more time the pizza, and you could get the recipe and make it too if you get the bundle before it ends on March 10th.
That's awesome. March 10th is coming up real quick, y'all.
Real
yes. So this bag is like my go-to bag. I love this bag. I love it for a few reasons. You may have seen me, if you've watched me before, share about it, but I can't talk about it enough because it's really fashionable, right? It could be like a purse. Nobody notices that this is like a cooler, actually.
Right.
But
nice.
It could be a big purse, and this thing might give it away, but you don't have to do that. And I've got stuff at the inside, so I'll take it out, but it's all insulated and it's really deep, and it's got pockets, and I just think that it's really great. So I can take this on a plane, and it's got a strap here so it can fit on the luggage, right? But I can also take it just for the day or take it to a restaurant. And being prepared is really important for me. So some of the things that I use when I travel are these reusable containers. Something came in this, so and I also have some of these. I like the square shape more than a round one, even though I have round ones, because it'll fit in the bag better.
Yeah.
You could do
stuff
silverware
way better with that.
Yeah, you like the square also, or like that shape?
I do. I think it's so much easier. It's so much easier to like stack inside of something.
Yeah.
The round takes up space in a weird way that like you lose space with it, I feel like.
Yeah, you do. You lose space in the corners because but speaking of round, I do have some round things in here, but I actually got these when we were going out of the country, and what I really like about it is it's a bowl, so there's
awesome.
all kinds, little things. So I would bring some oats, which I could show up and put it in here and have it with, some almond milk or soy milk, or dry. One time I was on a train and they didn't have anything. But then I can put the lid on, so, it's really easy to go. And then I did find one that's not a circle.
Awesome.
So I do have that one too. But those are kind of the things that I use for, basic stuff. And then in the front pouch, I usually like to put napkins and silverware, and sometimes even, my wallet or something, so that I don't have 2 bags, or
Right.
whatever. If yeah, and then I really love this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move this out of the way, but it's a food saver.
Oh yeah.
And I love to use a food saver for prepping and putting in the freezer and stuff, but I also like to use it for, traveling. So, oh, and I didn't talk about the bottle. This is a real old one. So, but it has these plastic bags in here. Whoops. Oh, it's backwards to me because I'm showing it to you. So I've got this plastic, plastic, I know. What are you going to do? You do the best you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you vacuum seal it, and you can create whatever size bag you want. And then I measure rolled oats. Like this, it happens to be rolled oats.
Huh.
This is 1 cup. I put the date, what it is, and I seal it. This thing is going to go anywhere. It's going to be sealed. Nothing's getting into this. And then if I have my bowl and I'm hungry, you can't travel with, sometimes, I don't know if they let you travel with a knife, like a silverware knife, but I've taken a pen and just stabbed it and torn it open. I'm hungry and gotten it out that way. And I even do it with, hemp seeds. You could do it with chia seeds. You make little packets. And so that's been really helpful for me. And the last thing I'll share is I really like this bottle. It's the clearly filtered bottle. I don't use it when I'm home, but when I travel, especially on airplanes, because it has a filter in it. So you can use any water anywhere, and then you don't have to worry about what kind of water
might
might
be. Looking like we're panicking, we keep hearing a cat that sounds like it's in distress. And
oh, you're kidding.
And so Kathy's looking to see if she can see where the cat might be.
Oh my goodness, I hope it's not in distress. Poor little kitty.
I don't think it is. I think it's just chatty.
Okay, good.
I think it's just chatty.
We're right above the street, and there's a neighborhood kind of here, so it's probably just...
Their houses that way.
Yeah, so it's probably somebody's cat just yelling at somebody about something, but we wanted to make sure. That's why we looked a little panicked. Because I was like, oh, Lord. We can't get another one. We can't smuggle one on the boat, right?
Or can we?
Yeah, you guys are going on holistic holidays at sea, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow we board for holistic holiday at sea. We're very excited. We've been eyeballing this for quite a few years, actually, and every time we would look at it, we'd be like, wow, that's a lot of money, and I don't know. And so when the opportunity to bid on it at a gala for the Piedmont Animal Sanctuary came up, we were like, well...
So we got it about half price, which is exciting. Of course, now we've added stuff to it, so it's probably cost the same. But
wow, you're going to have a great time. And where are you headed again?
We're going to Jamaica.
Okay, let me see.
Kathy actually has it up.
That cat is just, I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's like, meow, 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 meow. Does it?
It should say itinerary down here. Bonk, there.
Okay.
And then you go here.
Okay.
And then it should pull it up.
There's for all the cruises, there's a whole different app, and they're
so
all
many
different.
Apps, and they're all different.
So we're going to Jamaica, Georgetown, and the Cayman Islands, Cozumel, Mexico, and then we're going to their private island.
Ocean Key, their private island, which we went to on one of our tester cruises, and the island is absolutely gorgeous.
And you're going on the Alaska one in the fall, right?
Yes, I am. And I didn't know anything about the app, and I haven't been, before. So I'm very excited to hear about your experience.
Oh yeah, there is a huge learning curve at first, because you never really like with the holistic holiday thing. It's like, because we won it, we really didn't get a whole lot of information. So and it's funny because most people just assume if you're cruising that you've cruised before.
Oh.
and that's not necessarily the case. But
It's-
also, I think, aren't you guys going on? Is it Celebrity?
No, Princess. You guys are doing,
Princess.
right?
I think it is Princess.
Mhm.
I just know it's Holistic Holiday at C2 Alaska. I'm pretty sure it's Princess. If Gina's still here, maybe she can say in the chat.
Yeah, I think it is Princess.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chef Val says Alaska's the one place I would love to visit.
Yeah.
And
Oh, hi, Chef Val. I just saw her today too.
Yeah, and I was hoping to go to that, but we're actually going to be in the UK for about 6 weeks.
So it's like right at the tail
right
end
at
of
the end.
that?
We get back like 2 days late, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's I can't remember if it's 2 days after or if it's we actually get back the day that it boards, and we
Yeah.
would have to get from New York to Seattle in a couple hours,
Which is kind of impossible.
which
but,
I don't think is possible.
but I think you guys are going to have the very best time. I will say, so we've been on one MSC boat. I think this is going to be different. I've mentioned this to those of you who've been watching me some this week, is that MSC, they do have vegan options. And in almost any cruise, you're going to have a really good salad bar and fruit options on your buffet or galley. But MSC was not the most flavorful food that I've had. So I'm interested to see if it's different because they're kind of having it catered,
Yeah,
right?
And they kind of like on the normal cruise that we went on, they more of a repetitive type thing. So whatever we had for dinner the first night showed up for lunch the next day
on the buffet.
Yeah. And then so it was just this and then there was one thing that was on the chili was actually on the buffet for 2 days.
Well, like
following
3 days,
maybe 3 following us having
it was
for a
good,
meal.
so I ate it. So I made myself a little faux taco salad up at the buffet after having it for lunch the day before. But with Princess, Celebrity, and Virgin, we found so far, we're going on our second Celebrity cruise right after the Holistic Health cruise. And we found that food is stellar. And
Absolutely stellar on it.
Yeah, we're going to a plant-based tasting menu at one of the pay extra restaurants.
Oh, and which cruise line was that again?
Celebrity.
Oh, yes. Okay. I want to ask you, when you've gone on any of these so far, I know that there's food there, but do you bring anything? Do you bring any of your own snacks or anything?
Well, I brought some backup stuff. So one thing you should know is you can't bring a bunch of potatoes and things. You can bring sealed snacks, but you can't bring
But they have to be
loose.
Commercially sealed items. They
You
can't
might
just
be able to get away with your oatmeal or just to bring a whole thing of rolled oats.
Yeah, the way her seals it, like that.
I
would almost bet you could get away with that.
But so I have those dried sweet potatoes snacks, and I bring some of those with me. I didn't bring it this time, but I have this little camping kit that you open up, and it's got these vials. And so I have a bunch of dry sauce, dressing, and spice blends. And so I did find a rechargeable small blender. So that would work with what the rules of the cruise ship are, so that you could put hot water with it, and then it's going to clump because those are oat based. But I have a PB2 peanut ginger sauce. I've got a Middle Eastern chickpea sauce, Italian dressing seasoning. So you could go on the bar, get some chickpeas and some balsamic, a little water or non-dairy milk, blend that together, or whisk.
Yeah.
I brought a whisk too, but
Elizabeth was able to get
dressing. She's brought dressing.
She's made dressing at home and been able to bring that on Royal Caribbean, and
she snuck it on MSC too.
Did she sneak it on
yeah.
MSC?
MSC's a little harder. Like they were
Their
like
security was,
very like I felt like I was in a different country, kind of like level
like-
of security.
It was the toughest security that we had been through
Like,
yet.
yeah, I took pictures so we went through security, and now we're just like checking in and getting our stuff, and they made me delete pictures from there.
And we were just trying to take pictures of
Like,
this
I'm
gorgeous
taking pictures
space
of the
that they
atrium.
had.
It's not like I
and
was
it
taking pictures of like a
Oh.
process, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they're definitely more stickler.
Yeah, a little sticker.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Apple's
Oh.
saying
Yeah.
the video image is gorgeous,
That's-
good
that's-
light. And I'm like, it's just the sun going down. That's
It is beautiful though, isn't it?
It is.
Wow,
We're
this
like-
might be our best work yet, guys.
Yeah.
I know,
Because
you
there
guys,
is no
you
work.
started and there was a beautiful sun in the background, bright and light, and now you've got all the, lit buildings, and it looks great. Yes.
And
It's like when you go somewhere and they take your picture and then they put different scenes behind
Yeah.
you.
it almost looks like we have a green screen behind us.
It
or
does.
something.
It totally looks like we have a green screen and we're lying, except you can hear all the weird noises you don't hear.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a gentleman who was actually swimming in the pool right next to us, and at one point I was gonna say, hey, can we put you on camera so that they know that we're really here?
No, I would not. It's cold.
I don't know how he was in
We
the water.
had to go
y'all.
get
It
our
was-
jackets.
It's cold to
Well,
us.
just to
Oh,
sit
wow.
outside like this, and Alicia says, "Aw, missing Alaska because you're hanging out in Europe," and she's like laughing. Alicia's one of our good friends.
You come with us.
Well,
Alicia.
here's the thing.
When you coming on the boat with us?
Yeah,
Why are you not here now?
right?
That's all I have to say to you, Alicia. But
Yeah,
I guess the
and
sun set quick.
Yeah, and there's planes.
yeah.
We're-
Well,
we're
I
going to the
was
airport.
I was just going to say that based on, everything that you've shared so far, I would love to hang out on a cruise with you guys. So who knows
Bring
what the
it
future
on.
holds.
Bring
Yeah,
it on.
that would be really fun.
Get Todd, pack him in a bag, and bring him on. And
Oh,
shove
I
him in
know.
there,
I have
let's
the
go.
perfect bag. I have the perfect bag. Honey, jump in.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Well, one thing, the food that we found that's the absolute best, but it's harder to get whole food plant-based, no oil, is on Virgin.
Oh.
They do a really good vegan menu, and if you're being 100%, it would be hard.
Yeah.
They've got a great salad bar, and they've got lots of fruit and stuff, but it's interesting to see, like on Celebrity, on the buffet, they had all these vegetables, potatoes, rice, so it was really easy to make everything
And they had that vegan menu that had like 14 different entrees.
right.
That were all vegan, and they were really
Wow.
really good about modifications too. I felt like.
They were. I would say this from our experience so far, which is baby experience. This is only our 5th cruise.
Yeah.
But when you think our first cruise was
Wow.
December, it's a lot. Is if you're going to do something, if you really are very whole food plant-based SOS or SOFAS free, probably going on one of the NHA or the Holistic Health Cruise or another specialty cruise is probably going to be easiest, because one of the reasons there are sticklers about bringing your own food on board is basically they're responsible for you.
Mhm.
So if you gave yourself food poisoning, you could sue them.
Yeah.
So that's just something to know. So if you try to sneak a dressing in and you get it in, yay. If they take it away, you just kind of have to be a
Yeah.
trooper about
And
it.
also I do want to mention, because for folks who haven't really cruised a lot, this was something that was shocking. Well, it wasn't shocking, but we were like, oh, we didn't know, was that you cannot take any food off the boat. So like if you're thinking, oh, let me grab some of that granola
Or a banana.
or a banana to take with me when I go into port, you can't take that off the boat.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. And you cannot bring any food items back onto.
Unless it's
the ship.
commercially sealed. So like if you found some dehydrated sweet potatoes out there, you could bring them sealed in. And part of it is the agricultural laws.
But that vegan key lime pie that you didn't eat at lunch, You got to
you
make
gotta
that
let it
go.
go.
You got to let it go because you
Yeah.
can't bring that back on.
Yeah, we
And
had
No.
Piegate.
we
on
had
our
Piegate,
boat.
and it was. I don't know if Melissa's on here or not, but she always mentions Piegate. But it was very drama filled for about a good 15 or 20 minutes of whether or not we were all gonna like have to get reported to the police or something.
Well, they wouldn't do that. They're just going to take it
no.
away. Like, but everything worked out okay. It's just one person would. Again, I tell you, the nicer you are, the more likely the outcome of the things will go your way.
Which is why she came looking for you.
Because she wanted me to
She
smooth
wanted
it
to keep her
over.
cake.
But Apple said my
Wow.
brain would be on fire trying to come up with ways to smuggle on taters.
Well, let me tell you, like, so that was one of the things that I was disappointed about with Virgin this last cruise. I mean, Kathy could not actually, like, she has started feeling so bad. She was like, you know what, I don't want to give this to anybody. I'm not really hungry. And so you go on to dinner by yourself. And so I would go down and I would say, well, it's just me. And then I would, eat my meal and chit chat with the waiters and all that kind of stuff. And then trying to pull my very best Kathy imitation, even to the point of being slightly flirty. I would say, my wife is really sick back in the room, and I'm sure she's probably hungry right now. And is there any way that I could get some of this to go, like to just take back to her, or maybe even just some of those vegetables? And they were like, can't do any takeout, but
Yeah.
unless you are a rock star sweet
that's
person.
different. Well, and they're paying thousands of dollars
Because they're
more.
paying what, $20,000
Or-
for a 4-night cruise, and then they
No.
have a butler that will go get the food for them and bring it
But
to
the
them.
story is that's really funny. We stayed out. I don't know. It must have been 11:15, and I was feeling like woo. And so I was like, I want something desserty.
Living the
And they
life,
had,
right?
just a wild time. So I went to one of the restaurants, Gumbe, the Korean one, and I was like, hey, any chance I could get that vegan mango soft serve to go? Because there was this beautiful sorbet, and I figured they were going to say no. And he's like, just give me a minute. And he came back with this beautiful bowl, all perfectly prepared. So, But Cheryl and all my friends say, you just flirt with people and
She
get what you
does.
want. But I'm like, that's not flirting. That's just me being nice. Like, I could say all the same things, but like if I was interested in someone, I would never do any of that stuff. So it's not flirting to me.
Well, it's not really. I mean, it's strategic flirting, I guess, is.
Maybe it seems that way. I'm just trying to be
And
nice.
now we wonder why people question the emergency date.
Yeah. Because I used to carry an emergency date in my purse because when I first was on the starch solution, it messed up my thyroid because I had lost.
I remember. I think I've heard about this emergency date, and I think about it sometimes when I'm driving. It's like I should have one of those.
But it was funny because somebody in the comments, when she was talking about her emergency date, said, "What does Cheryl think about that?"
And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't have time to date someone. That's crazy.
So we just get a kick out of
Oh,
talking
man.
about that.
It's really
That's
funny
really
though.
funny.
But I'm accused by it. Well, just go flirt it out. I'm like, I'm just being nice. I'm just being nice. But I do get
Yeah.
my
You
way
know,
a
you're-
lot by being nice.
Years
I
ago,
mean,
I was on a cruise years ago. Before I had a change in my eating, I did some things, but I wasn't like all the way. And then I remember I was able to bring food into the room because I was with my daughters, and one of them wasn't feeling good, and we brought food back to her. I'm wondering, is that like a new thing that they've changed? No.
So
It
no,
depends.
No. What it is on Virgin, they don't like to do takeout at the restaurants. You can bring anything from the galley, which is their version of a buffet, which is more of like a food court, which is kind of nice because there's less germy hands touching everything that you touch. And they have this beautiful quinoa spinach salad with tofu that's really delicious. And they also have grab and go. So there's like overnight oats that you
Vegan
can
sushi.
Yeah, vegan sushi there's a lot of, so I mean, it's not that everything is bad. You know, there is some avocado in the sushi, so it just depends on what your do's and don'ts are.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I starved to death in there. And you can bring things, and you can also get room service, just not from those restaurants.
Right.
I see. And I know that some of them, I think maybe the one that we're supposed to go on has like a smoothie bar, no, it's not a smoothie bar, it's a juice bar.
Yeah.
And so, so is that something that's available 24 hours?
Probably not, but I don't know. It's going to depend on the boat and the line. Virgin has 2 places you can get cold pressed juices, and 1 place you can get smoothies, but the hours are limited.
And they are an additional fee.
And they are an additional fee. So probably, I don't know if in your package they're included or not. Like, the difference about Virgin is Virgin costs up front a little bit more, but all these specialty restaurants aren't really specialty restaurants. So you can just go and you don't pay any extra money to go.
You could eat at the same restaurant every day if you wanted to, if you were willing just to stand in line and wait for a table.
But like Pink Agave had like chayote, squash was the side, and then it was a potato stuffed chili relleno that wasn't fried. It didn't have a batter on it. It was delicious. Like, to me, that was probably the closest whole food plant-based. Probably mostly no oil.
The smoky peas.
Oh,
yeah,
what is that?
The smoky peas in the top.
They came out with the peas in
a glass cloche.
Yeah, with smoke in it, and then they pulled it off all at the same time and whirled the smoke up, and
there's
the
a
peas
fancy,
oh my god, they were so good.
A fancy molecular restaurant. And again, like on where we're going with MSC, there's specialty restaurants and celebrity, but they cost extra. And with Virgin, that's one of the things that includes tips, that includes just some other stuff.
Basic internet.
Yeah.
Things that you have to pay for
extra.
But
it's really cool. So you get little plates. You get like 5 little plates, and you're there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I like the experience of it. Some people hate that. Like, hate it. Like,
really?
They don't want to sit.
I think it would be fun.
See, I can see the 4 of us sitting there enjoying the heck out of that.
Yeah.
Just talking.
I'm there.
And watching.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'll be there in time for tomorrow morning.
I wish.
I'll bring the pizza.
Yay! That sounds like a good breakfast. Well, we're about to lose all the lights, so I think we're going to have to call this. But it's been so wonderful visiting with you.
I miss you guys so much, and I hope that once the travel gets leveled out a little bit and I can slide back into those meetings a little bit. I have to catch up on the class that I was taking too, that I haven't finished completely either. So
do you want to tell them about what the class?
The Click Up class.
I thought it was the other coaching class.
No, I haven't even started the other coaching class yet.
Okay. We busy.
I
got all my materials so that I can become a certified menopause whole food plant-based.
We need those. Yes, I got to tell you, I know you want to go, but I just want to say, when I started going through menopause, I was ticked off that no one told me anything like that was going to happen to me. And I was like, what is wrong with people? Why didn't anyone warn me? So good for you.
It's like people kind of told you, oh, you just won't have your period anymore. And you're like, well, that sounds lovely. But no, like your emotions are all screwed up, and it's like you're 11 years old again. I'm like, I did this. Let's just chill out. I'm old now.
Well, and for me, my mom never really had a lot of issues. And so, we didn't even really discuss anything because she never had any issues, but she's having them now. So
that's weird.
So she's going to a doctor trying to get that all worked out.
Fix it. Well, I got a cousin who never had any issues, and I'm like, what is going on? Our moms are identical twins, and I'm like, wait, what is happening here? Why?
No.
Why?
It may catch up to her. It may catch up to her. So
I
don't
hope
count that
not,
out
but
yet.
you know, it was like at the time yeah, so anyways, good for you. I'm glad to hear that. And again, thank you both so much. This has been a real treat.
It's been
And I
so
wish you
fun.
nothing but the best.
And
Yeah,
right
I
back
wish
at
you nothing but
you.
the best on your cruise. Yeah, and
Oh,
feel good and, you know, eat those plants, right?
Yes.
I'm going to eat those plants, sleep a little extra,
Mhm.
be a little kinder to myself. And I think we can
Yes.
all use that. Yeah.
Big hugs for everybody.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should all give ourselves a hug right now.
Okay, I
Just
can
give
do
yourself a hug, everybody, wherever you are. Just
That's
be
right.
nice to yourself and yeah, come on now. Okay.
And you can give Todd hugs for us.
Yes.
Aw, I absolutely will. Do you feel it, Todd? Do you feel the hugs?
I do.
Oh, yay! Excellent. All right, everybody. If we are able to go live on the boat, we may, but we don't know. It may not work.
Yeah.
So if not, we will talk to you guys really soon and do something really nice for yourself before you go to bed tonight, okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh,
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye, you guys.
See ya.
Thank you.